where black lives are no longer systematically and intentionally targeted for demise. We affirm our contribution to the society, our humanity, and our resilience in the face of deadly oppression. We put our sweat, equality, and love for black people into creating a political project, taking the hashtag off of social media into the streets. The call for Black Lives to Matter is rallying cry for all black lives striving for liberation. All we want is some human dignity. Give us our human rights when we are born with what God give us. That's all we've been asking for the last 200 or 300 years. That's all we've been asking for. But no, we'll continue to be oppressed. Like I said before, if there's some blacks out there that do up to no good, now they need to suffer the consequences. All right, suffer the consequences. But law-abiding people that are trying to do certain things right and then still are getting punished or being oppressed by the system, all right, that the white brothers have created, then no, it's not right. And I'm not going to go with that. Hashtag Black Lives Matter isn't a fight over who matters more. Now, the reason why I said it, because now we heard recently on television that a police officer made a statement, or a chief of police made a statement. He said, why do we have to put a qualifier on it? All lives matter. Well, you white brothers, y'all children are not getting murdered in the street like the blacks are getting murdered in the street. So what do you mean all lives matter? Yes, it does matter, but the focus should be on it's being perpetrated in the black community more than it is in your community. Because see, if it was happening in your community, then you wouldn't tolerate this. Now, let me put this in a nutshell here. Why does that matter so much when I'm on the broadcast and we dealing with this issue? Because it's perpetrated by men, so-called men, all right? That's why I have to deal with this, because we as men don't know who we are as men. Because the scripture just said that if we show partiality, we are committing sin. Number one, we're committing sin against our brother. Because we all are created equally. Huh? That's what God said. We are all created equally. He says that he has no respect of person. Black, white, brown, green, whatever color you may be. No respect of person. He loves us all the same. And whoever says he is in the light and hates his brother, he's still in darkness. All right. You see I'm getting hot here, right? All right. Black Lives Matter movement isn't a contest over whose lives matter more. Throughout history, the right wing or the establishment or the white culture has made every attempt to portray black-led struggles for freedom and equality as black people trying to get special rights. We don't want no special rights. We never asked for anything special. All we want is what we talked about, our basic human rights and our dignity to be treated like human beings. That's it. We don't want no special rights. Never asked for it. We wanted back during the 60s when those, and I think in the South, I think it was in Arkansas, when they desegregated school. All we wanted was a basic education, just like everybody else was getting an education. We wanted to go and eat lunch at the cafeterias and Woolworths, descending in Greensboro, North Carolina. All we want is have basic rights. What's wrong with that? God just said the blacks were better than the whites, and the whites are. He never said that. Where do we get that from? Just because we want to have, you want to, as white brothers, you want to have control? You want to have power? You want to get all that you can, and while you get it, you don't care who you put you don't care whose neck you put your foot on? That's not right. And God will call you accountable on that. All right? By taking something away from white people, from anti-slavery, anti-lynching, and anti-discrimination, civil rights, and racial justice struggles, the right has mobilized the economic anxiety, fear, and anger of white people and blame people of color for declining wages, raising costs, and unraveling the public institution. You see what happens is, I'm going to read this again, because the whites blame the blacks because of declining wages and raising costs. We ain't got nothing to do because we don't have that control. We don't have that type of power. All right? But it's because of your fear and black man that you don't want him to rise up and take what he deserves. Basic human rights and his dignity. That's all we want. And you don't want him to have that. But we want special privileges. We don't want nothing special. Just treat us like human beings and respect us. That's it. Anti-black racism and white supremacy was developed through laws. I just talked about that a few minutes ago. Anti-black racism, we talked about racism, is an institution. It's a set of laws. All right? And white supremacy was developed through laws, policies, brutal institutionalized violence to keep the vast majority of blacks fighting and hating each other, and it still continues to this day. We hate one another. That's why we have such high crime rates in the black community. When one black person makes it, we get mad. I'm talking to the blacks now. We get mad because somebody else is out there striving, working hard, trying to make things happen for his family and make a better life for them. Then we want to go rob and kill them because they got something. Because you too lazy to get out there in the street and get a job or go get an education. Because there's no reason in the world today, nowadays, everybody has a computer, right? There's education. You can go to the school now. You can get an education online if you want it. But if you're so lazy that you don't want to get up and get off your do for nothing and do something, then you are never going to have nothing. But you rather go and take from somebody else to satisfy your weaknesses on the inside, but you want to go put a gun to somebody's head and kill them for no reason. Make no sense. You're killing your own self. I hope y'all getting this. All right. While the 1% and those with the power to rule consolidated wealth and power, extracting it from working class communities with communities of color hit hardest, and that's so true. The 1% of the ones that are wealthy continue to benefit off the backs of blacks continually. When they continue to make money off them. Now you got the record business out there with the hip hop. They'll sell. A lot of blacks, they want to get out there and sing hip hop and all that. Now if that's your thing, I don't like hip hop because I think it's very degrading. Not only to the people that are singing, but to the community and disrespect on the women. You know, you walk around, you look like a bum, your pants hanging down on your butt. What kind of mess is that? You have no self-respect for yourself. But then you always say that the white culture, the white man is doing to you. No, certain things you do to yourself. And I understand that certain laws, I just said that certain laws and the institution of racism is still there, but you can still achieve some things in your life if you're willing to work hard for it. Don't sell your soul. Don't sell your soul for a couple $1,000 or $1 million because you got a record deal. Or because you're an athlete. All right, remember, when those days over that you can't play no more, what are you going to do then? And 9 times out of 10, a lot of athletes and musicians don't know how to use their money wisely or get somebody to help them to manage their money, then they end up broke. You ain't the first one out there that's trying to get a record deal. You ain't the first one that tried to play sports. All right? Until you understand who you are on the inside, and learning how the principles of manhood and learning about finances, then you're going to always be behind. Always. Wow, this is something. This is hard stuff here. The heart of hashtag Black Lives Matter is not a fight over whose lives matter more. It's a fight to end and to institutionalize premature death in the black community. I'll read that again. The heart of hashtag Black Lives Matter is not, hear what I just said, is not a fight over whose lives matter more, black or white, brown or green, pink or blue, but it is a fight to end institutionalized premature death in our black community. That's what it's all about. Giving and respecting somebody else's life. Don't just go and just presume just because you don't understand the culture, you don't understand the struggle of the black community and the people that are in there struggling all their lives, and their foreparents and their parents have been struggling because of the institutionalized of the laws and policies that have been in place hundreds and hundreds of years. All right? All we want is we just want basic human rights and dignity. That's all we want. and to stop killing people. If they ain't got no gun, there's better ways. If the person done wrong, there's better ways to shoot out, taking out a gun and kill the man for no reason, or woman. Premature death because of institutionalized racism is, well, let's break this down. What is institutional racism? Let's look at it. It still exists today. In housing, number one, you can see it all throughout our country. You go into black neighborhoods, they're always public housing because either they don't have the education, they can't get it, or there's certain things in place that they can't rise up. Now, I'm not saying that's across the board. I'm just saying, generally speaking. Now, blacks can do better if you get out there and try to get the education, you get out there and learn, you struggle, and you do all you can to work hard, you can make it. You can make it. Is it going to be easy? No, I ain't going to say it's going to be easy. Because we know, and I'm going to be honest here, we know that as a black, either male or female, you got to be 10 times as good as your white counterpart. You got to be. And you may have the same degree, went to the same school, but you got to be so much better, and you went to the same school. Y'all should be created equal, but it's not equal. The playing field is not level. It's lopsided. All right? So we got to straighten it out by learning and getting all the education we can and get out there and put knowledge in our brains. All right? And learn and apply ourselves. That's what we're going to have to do. Housing, we said. Healthcare. We know that's a huge one. Go to the black community talking about healthcare. 9 times out of 10, a lot of blacks don't even have healthcare. They don't have no health insurance. Can't afford it. Either they're on Medicaid or Medicare, or they're on Medicare or Medicaid. You know, if it's due to an injury, or then you got women with all these children. We'll get into that issue another time. All right, because that's a different issue that we can deal with. All right, comes to jobs, another big thing. You know, first hired, last hired, first fired. You ain't gonna get the same opportunity. Why is that? Because the field is not level. You can have the same degree, you go to the same school, but who's going 9 times out of 10? Who gets the upper hand first? Because somebody else, their parents may know somebody, ain't gonna get them in the door. All right, let's be for real about it. Education, another key right there. We just talked about that, how some schools in the inner city are broken down and don't have the correct books, don't have computers or whatever they need. They don't have it. But you go to the white community, they got everything they need and more. Why is that? So you telling me that there is still not institutional racism going on? It is. It happens every day. The playing field is not level. The criminal justice system, wow. We can go on and on about that because a lot of the cases that, especially a lot of blacks are in jail. I'm not saying that there have not been blacks that have not killed people and they belong there. Okay, don't think that I'm just trying to shine a light on the district on the white brothers in uniform. What I'm saying is that a lot of the crimes, the low-end crimes that blacks commit, are basically drug-related crimes. And what they do is the crime their white counterpart can commit the same type of drug-related crime, and they'll get little or no time. But the black person going to do 10 times more time than a white person. That's institutional racism right there, because there's a disparity. Why is that? Because they fear the black man. They don't understand the struggle, so they gonna say, if we read them in the encyclopedia, or it go on Wikipedia on the computer, it tells you about 2 words, black and white. Black is always a bad, dark, gloomy, always something that's bad, but white is always pure, what's right and what's good. You see what I'm saying? It still goes on, even in an encyclopedia. Wow. I'm telling you, this stuff is really getting to me today. I hope that y'all get something out of this. All right, let's continue on. The racist violence does not require the shooter to hate black people. Rather, it only requires they react from the deeply internalized fear of black people. That's the problem. They fear us as blacks. Why do you fear? We ain't did nothing to you. We should be mad after all that you had did to our parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. Yeah. Because they fear. So whenever they see a black person, it's always in their mind that, oh man, I got to be ready. I better get my gun ready. Why is that? You don't do that in the white community. Why? Woo! I'm going to read that again. This racist violence does not require the shooter to hate black people. Rather, it only requires they react from the deeply internalized fear of black bodies and a sense of ownership over black bodies that this society is based on. A society built on the slave system. It was built on the slave system, which demonized, exploited, and brutalized black bodies from the elderly to the babies. It is so true. It is so, so very, very true. Because they felt if we came together as a people that we would take what they had, what they stole from us, and they won't have nothing. That's the problem. The fear. Y'all need to listen to that broadcast on YouTube with the white brother talking about the systemic racism. And he was a racist, and he really breaks it down. I'm telling you, this brother, he was going off, and I had to give him applause. I had to clap my hands because the brother, he was right on. He was right on. And I know he probably got some kickback from that, but that's all right. He was willing to stand up and speak the truth. All right. Of course, hashtag Black Lives Matter, which is why we are fighting to the end to the structured premature death of black people in racist society. To assess that all lives matter is here's the word again. Here's what the white brothers say. All lives matter. This ain't black lives matter. It's all lives matter. We hear what the presidential candidates right now. All lives matter. But let's look at it. Look how they tried to turn the table here. Look how the table is being turned. To assess that all lives matter is reaction in opposition to hashtag Black Lives Matter. It's just the logic of the healthy, resource, and protected. All right? Let me go back again and read that. I think I went over something right here. To assert that all lives matter in reaction in opposition to hashtag Black Lives Matter is to just the logic of the slave society dividing people who should be coming together for a world where all our babies can grow up loved, healthy, resourced, and protected. They use it against the black community to press down. What do you mean all lives? Your children are not ones getting shot and killed in the street. That's the point. We ain't said nothing about your people. We saying that we just want basic human rights. We want our dignity, and we don't want our people being shot down the street. If they did wrong, arrest them, but don't shoot them. If they ain't got no gun and there's no threat to your life, then tase them. Call for backup, arrest the guy, take him downtown, find out what's going on. You ain't got to kill him for no reason. Wow, this is huge. This is huge. All lives, hashtag all lives matter is the new special rights smear tactic utilized by the White Citizens Council and Klan against the civil rights movement. All right, what side are you on? See, there it is, the division again. Whose side are you on? Are you on our side, white brothers, or are you on the black people's side? And I gotta give it to some white brothers and sisters out there. They're standing up and they're marching in these marches around the country about Black Lives Matter because they know that there's an abuse. They see that there's a pattern going on in our society. Now, like I said, we go back to the manhood thing. If all this stuff is being perpetrated by men or so-called men, we have a problem. The only person you shouldn't be fearing any man. We learn how to work together as a group of men. If we are true men, we wouldn't have these issues. But it's all about control. It's all about power. All right, and it's all about money. And we talked about that on our broadcast many times. See, these things, and when you start doing things to satisfy yourself and to have control and power, I tell you can do some of the worst things this world has ever seen. Dr. King talked about this 30, 40, 50 years ago. He said, when you start doing stuff for your own kind of people, you can do some of the most horrendous acts that mankind has ever seen. And you still see it. It's happening. It's coming to truth. It's coming to light. And it's been like that for a long time. When you start hating somebody else and perpetrating somebody else to keep them down from getting what you got, then you got an issue. You have a security issue within there and within yourself. You have an identity problem. All right? All right. White, what side are you on? To those who argue hashtag all lives